A dozen Jewish rabbis that have said the Messiah is on earth now. He's been identified. He is soon going to make himself known. Well, some key things have to happen for the messianic figure in the Jewish mindset. For the Messiah to arrive, you can't think of him like we think of Messiah. We think of Messiah after the model of Jesus. He's the Son of God, divine birth, all of that. That's not the way the Jews look at the Messiah. They're looking for a king. They're looking for a political leader. As a matter of fact, Messiah to them means the anointed one, and it goes back to the ancient days when they would anoint a king and recognize him as this is the man that God sent. And what they're looking for is several things. First of all, they're looking for somebody in a political figure who can lead decisive battles in defense of Israel. This is why the only politician on the face of the earth that was standing up and saying, if I'm elected president, I'm going to be the biggest friend that Israel's ever had. We're going to undo the Iran deal, well, blah, 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 right? And being a friend of Benjamin Netanyahu.
מה שישראל לאחרונה נמצא מטקסט וכמה עניינים. מה שלא יאות, וגם משהו שעדיין משיח ליבו. אז הייתה משהו ומה ידיעתו.
עושים.
הכנראה שהיא מספיק, כאילו שהיום כבר כמה שעות בגיל ועדיין ליבו. אבל יש עוד כמה שעות, אבל יש להשתדל גם היום, בצורה טובה.
Secondly, they're looking for, when the Messiah comes, there will be an ingathering of Jews from around the world back into the Holy Land. That's why the rabbis, on the eve of his election, went on television and said, we need to call now Jews from around the world, come back to Jerusalem because the Messiah is here, right?
Yes.
There's another thing. Thirdly, they talk about when he arrives, he is going to reinstitute the temple service. So what was the second thing they did? They called on Trump and Putin to use their power to rebuild the temple and to reinstitute the temple service. I'm not saying that they think he is the Messiah. What I actually think is that most of the rabbis there think he's John the Baptist and the Messiah is about to appear. He's the forerunner. He's the guy that's going to start the message in the wilderness, and the Messiah is going to come in on his heels. And so we need the temple service. We need to get back into Israel, the Messiah. Now, why are they saying that? They have identified somebody. I mean, there could be a few rabbis there that think he's the Messiah. The other third key is he has to be of the Davidic dynasty. He has to be of the Davidic bloodline, and there is an effort right now to go back through the European monarchy, cousins of President Donald Trump, to show that his bloodline goes back to the Davidic dynasty. Now, why are these efforts underway? I'm just saying there's something very strange here that's going on, and everything I'm saying can be verified. Multiple news agencies, the Jerusalem Post, Breaking Israel News, they're all talking about this right now. So they too believe that we are in the end times. They too believe that the Messiah is about to appear. We would say the second coming is about to happen, but their Messiah is going to be a false Messiah. He's going to be the Antichrist, right?
That was minted by the Institute for Knowledge of the Temple, and it has a picture of King Cyrus in the background, who was very influential in the rebuilding of the temple, the second temple. It has President Trump in the foreground, and on the back it has a picture of the temple itself. We hope that the declarations of both Cyrus and Trump will lead to the rebuilding of the third temple.
When is the building?
Very soon. We've already started.
Yeah?
Yes.
And when it's due to be completed?
That depends on how fast the workers work and how quickly we can collect the money from the treasury.
$1 billion?
It's a huge step. It's not just a step. It's a huge step because it is a step that is bringing together the biblical narrative, the narrative of Esav and Yaakov, the two brothers that were split thousands of years ago are now being brought together again, and this is all part of the biblical narrative. We believe that this is a huge step to the recognition of Jerusalem, of Israel, and the rebuilding of our third temple.
When you see Pax Judaica replacing Pax Americana, we know we are in Akhirul Zaman, and very soon, Dajjal is going to appear in person, ruling the world from Jerusalem and declaring that I am the Messiah. However, this is not the end of history. The Jews will say this is the end of history. The Christians are going to wake up and rub their eyes, the ones who are deceived by Europe, and they say, but wait a minute, this fella there in Jerusalem who says he's the Messiah, boy, he's not the son of Mary. Huh? The Messiah who is to come back is the son of Mary. This fella is not the son of Mary. This is not Jesus. It seems as though we were taken for a ride. Are we telling them that now if they're listening to the lecture? You've been taken for a ride. This is not the Messiah. This is Dajjal, the false Messiah. And this is not the end of history. The Jews are celebrating, but this is not the end of history. History will now end when the true Messiah comes back.
Thank you all. And of course, I want to especially welcome Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump. Your presence here today is a testament to the importance of this occasion, not only for the Trump administration, but in a very personal way, for you. For you, each of you, for the pursuit of peace, and for President Trump himself. Thank you. Dear friends, what a glorious day. Remember this moment. This is history. President Trump, by recognizing history, you have made history. So for me, this spot brings back personal memories, but for our people, it evokes profound collective memories of the greatest moments we have known on this city on a hill. In Jerusalem, Abram passed the greatest test of faith and the right to be the father of our nation. In Jerusalem, King David established our capital 3,000 years ago. In Jerusalem, King Solomon built our temple, which stood for many centuries. In Jerusalem, Jewish exiles from Babylon rebuilt the temple, which stood for many more centuries. In Jerusalem, the Maccabees rededicated that temple, and restored Jewish sovereignty in this land. And it was here in Jerusalem, some 2,000 years later, that the soldiers of Israel spoke three immortal words: Hal Habayit Be'adenu. The Temple Mount is in our hands. The Temple Mount is in our hands. Words that lifted the spirit of the entire nation. We are in Jerusalem and we are here to stay.
America's ambassador to Israel has come in for criticism after he was seen posing with a rather controversial gift. David Friedman was presented with a photograph of one of the most sacred places in Jerusalem, but the image had been altered to show the Jewish third temple on the site where the Islamic Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock are currently situated.
We will move the American embassy to the eternal capital of the Jewish people, Jerusalem.
I think President Trump has made history. This will be remembered the way we remember the Cyrus Declaration from 2,500 years ago when he told the exiles of Babylon, you can go back and rebuild the temple in Jerusalem. This is a historic moment, and we will always remember.
For the first time since the past 2,000 years within our generation, we are seeing these preparations for the rebuilding of the temple. They are training the priest. They have the implements in place.
I mean, I could just go for the next hour or two about the personalities who believe it's about to be put up. One of my dear friends, an Orthodox Jewish man named Gershon Solomon, he has the cornerstones to put on the Temple Mount to start construction of all that God said will happen during the tribulation period. All the preparations, every player I've talked with, I know I love them, they're ready to put the temple up.
What is the difference between Zionism and Judaism?
Zionism is political, Judaism is spiritual.
Okay. Are they connected?
No. We try to connect them too much, and that's what causes problems.
Okay.
In my opinion. I think we're all Jews, we're not all Zionists, and we're all Zionists, but we don't believe in Zionism. Zionism has become a political movement.
Okay, now explain, give me a definition of Zionist and Zionism. But I don't understand what you mean.
Every Jew has in his neshama a belonging to Israel, so therefore they're all Zionists. Zionism has become a political movement in how we believe we should get Israel and what we should do to get it. So therefore the mix between them is not that kind.
So even the anti-Zionist would still be a Zionist, I put it quotes, in that sense of this is Jewish, this is their land.
Israel. Yes, this is our land, and we're spiritually connected to it. You bring in politics and beliefs, then that's when